My friends, we're just a couple short weeks away from the most important feature or mode in all of Persona 5X hitting us, and that, of course, is Tycoon, the amazing card game that I've lost hours upon hours of my life to. And a few of you have asked if I could demonstrate that mode a bit, because you don't know what the card game's all about, and maybe, if you're good, I'll show you some of my strategies. So let's go ahead and let's do that. Now, before we get too far along, my kids have told me that I have upgraded to legendary status, and I'm not going to call them a liar. And that's because I now have a legendary sponsor in the name of Raid Shadow Legends, and you get to start the same way I do by going into the description or the first pinned comment and clicking the link, which will give you the same benefits that I got. And that is to start with 2 legendary champions. First one you're going to get is Harvest Jack, and my more favorite one is you get to add the code Demon Slayer to get Tholen Foulbeard. He's just a big old powerhouse. And when you hit levels 10, 20, and 40, you get epic characters. So you can see I've already got Ugo. This guy just got delivered to me. Join me in the game. I'm getting ready to start a guild. I want you guys there with me. And thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for supporting the channel and for my kids telling me I'm legendary. Let's get back to it. All right, so coming back into it, Tycoon is this little cool icon thing. I'm not sure what to call that. And there's a few different modes. Now, I will say starting at the most disappointing thing is simply that there isn't yet a way that I know of, at least, to directly challenge friends, host a lobby, or run this with your guild. I'm hoping they change that, and hey, maybe we'll get a surprise for global and that comes directly with us. But Tycoon operates on seasons. You can see up in the top corner here that my season is about to be over, a couple of days here, and then we'll kick off into another season. And if I briefly turn off my camera, I can show you the different icons down here. So the ones that you're really going to care about are ultimately, you do have different rewards you get for ranking up or down, for that matter. So similar to other point type modes, the better you do, the more stuff you get, but it's nothing too crazy. You can definitely clear a good portion of the shop without getting too crazy into the rankings. And some of these things we don't have yet, like these bells. This is like a different feature that's in KR and another servers, so don't get too hung up. They can always change the different rewards. We know that they've done that for global so far, so just know that there are rewards to be gained there. You also have, your different cards. You can customize them, put different jackets on if you unlock them and stuff. I don't care too much about that sort of a thing. And the same thing with your people. You can pick whoever you want. Like I'll go put Luce on, well, actually I'll put Soy on. So you can change who your person sitting at the table is, fun stuff. But where the real kind of special meat is you do have an additional 2 shops that go with this, and you get these different currencies, so these sign points and this cash looking thing, basically by just playing and doing the modes and doing the missions. And it's all the stuff that we typically get that you like. So it's cards, it's leveling materials, you get these special cards that let you double your drops for specifically the card mode, different card backs. Again, I could care less about these. And you also have for the other currency, same thing. You've got, your special coins, you've got the roses, you've got the seasonal inks, so you can customize your cards. So there's definitely good stuff to have here. And if you want nothing else, then you want to come in here, at least clear out your shops. You also have challenges, missions, whatever. And unfortunately, because I'm on my KR account, a lot of these are going to translate poorly. We'll see exactly what they look like once we get into the, full game, or I should say, once it gets to global. But if you look through here, like this one, once I do this, I get 250 points. Or down here, complete 10 random mode matches, and I get 1,500 points. So this is the bulk of how you're going to get your sign points. And then if you look at these other challenges, this is where, complete 3 single matches, and I'll get 3,000 of the dollar. So the other, currency for the other part of the shop. So you basically, like all other modes, you're going to have these missions that you're going to want to complete that are going to get you the currencies and rewards for the mode itself. And so definitely do those. And currently we have 3 different modes. And if you look up here in the corner or middle, that's not a corner, you get season rules. So for example, player whose tier is great poor will always have a wonder card. We'll talk about that in a minute in their initial cards, and player who is in poor must have 4 card in their initial cards. So that will change some like the starting plays that you do. But to go through this, you have a PvP mode. So this is where you will group against other real players. You have a single player PVE mode at different difficulties, and you can choose, this is 1st edition, 3rd edition. I believe that changes like some of these rules. I don't fully understand because I can't get this to translate properly. And then you have a kind of like a betting one. So again, this is PvP. You can see I have a bunch of coins up here, and I can bet when I'm in the match and try to win more and then try to go up to the higher ranks and everything else. Like I don't even have enough. I actually do have enough to buy in on this one right now. And so these are just different ways to play basically the same game. So these are like your single matches and stuff like that. So what I'll do is I'll start by going into like a PVE match. I'll just pick this first one, just an easy one, just to show you what it looks like. Again, we'll have to deal with some translations and stuff. And one thing I will say is when you get Cherish to 13, this will open up here, which is to tell you what cards are still left to play, which can be helpful. And so you'll see that I've got a single card play to 6, right? So I want to beat that with a higher number card. So in this case, I can just pick a 9. It's my lowest that I have here that's still a single card, or I could break, you know, on my doubles. And the goal is to run out of your cards faster than anybody else. A wonder card clears the board. So that can be a way for you to keep going in your play if you don't have a card to use. So you can see he passed. I've got a 6. A 6 is higher than a 5. It's a single. And you don't want to get too crazy too early with dropping cards. Oh, see, this is tough. So a 2 you can only beat, I think, with a 3 of spades. But you generally get roadblocks. So my choices now are to run the wonder card and clear the board, or run the joker card, and a joker's a joker. But jokers can also be combined with like 2 aces to get 3 aces. So I think in this situation, I'm actually going to use the wonder card. Reason being is I have a low card of 4 and a 2 as the highest card. And so what I want to do is get rid of this, because this could end up sticking it to me, and I don't want that. So I'm going to play the 4, and as long as no one plays a 2... Oh, well, they used the joker, so I can't do anything there. I could have played a 2, but they played a joker. And so now you see we got 3 queens. So my best bet here is use a joker here, actually, because I want to take control again. I want to be the one who's deciding who's going. And things you can do is, for example, I know that I use the joker and someone else used the joker, so I should be pretty safe to play this 2. And I just want to get it out of my hand. Perfect. And so I'll play the queen. I want to see how high their cards are. Yeah, so now I'm kind of running down my high cards. And I haven't touched my 8s for a very specific reason. No, we had a 2 the whole time. Well, you should have played that before, dude. Perfect. So now we're going to go into doubles. Oh, he had the doubles I had. This is where it can be tricky because I can't play against that. But the 8s clear the board. But like if they play doubles, then you have to play doubles. If they play triples, you have to play triples. And I can't beat a 2. 2 is like your kind of high card. So now I've got the option, and I think I'm going to do it. I can break my jacks. They're running low on cards, and so I want to make sure that I can still go. And now what I can do is, because the 8s clear the board and it skips their turn, I can run the 8s, follow up by a jack, and now I've won. So your goal is to be first place. And when you play against other players, you actually have 3 rounds, and you get 30 points for first place, 20 for second, 10 for third. And you obviously want to win as many rounds as you can to get the highest score at the end, to get the most rewards. So the whole goal here is to do just what I did. You want to clear your cards first, fastest, and you do that by either singles, doubles, triples being higher value than the person before you. And you just saw there too, they played 4 of the same card, so 4 7s, that actually reverses it. So if you play 4 cards, you get a reversal, and now you have to get lower value. So normally you try to get higher, so you know an 8 beats a 7. Otherwise, if you have the reversal and they put down a jack, well now you need like a 10 or a 9 or something like that. So it's a fun little way to kind of flip the board, and there's definitely times when that is super, super helpful. But that's just the basic demonstration of like a PvE mode. So let's queue up. We're going to go into a 3 match. I should probably actually have the right button. And I'm underclass. I haven't been playing my KR account, so that's like low ranks. And it pops pretty quick. I think it'll pop even faster once it comes to global. So I'm just going to prepare. This lets me in the match. And it'll be random who goes first. And we're going to play the same way. So I'm going to talk you through my thoughts here. So they're clearing the board. So they're starting low. So I want to get rid of my low cards first, because it can be very, very hard to do that unless somebody does the 4 cards to flip the board over. And now I've seen 2 8s go away. So I know there's only one other 8, so someone else has to have a single. And here, this is interesting because I can use my 2s into a joker for 3 2s, and someone's not really going to beat that. Or I can pair it with my king, but I think I'm going to use my wonder here because 2s are very powerful. And I feel like they can really help me later in the game. Same with 8s. I tend to keep my 8s for longer. And this will now allow me to play my 3. Because again, I've got to get my low cards out of my hand. Oh, darn. I was hoping they would play like a, I don't know, like a queen or something. So I'm going to run this one with the Joker, keeping us lower. And they're going to clear the board. So that's all the wonder cards, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So board clears are over. So this I can take with my 10s. And it's not always good to run like your super high cards fast. Like sometimes you want to delay because you want to take, control of the board again. And so like I still have a 6, a king, like I still have non-doubles, which if I don't burn them quickly can become a problem. So I'm going to go into my 6. I'm trying to hold the 8 because you can a lot of times combo your 8 at 8 at the end to just win. Darn, they had a 2. Okay, so I can either play Joker here. I'm going to hold the Joker because this is going to become a dead round anyways. And there we go. So I can use it here. So now I just need to take control of the board and I'll be able to win this match. Please pass. Please pass. Damn it. Damn it. They've got a really good deck right now. So the best thing that could happen here is a single. So I can't do anything there because I would have to have 2 8s to clear it. Or like 2 kings, 2 aces. They're probably going to take this round. This has been a much nicer match than usual. What do you got? So they don't have a double that's higher than 9s. They're going to win now because they have 1 card left. And there's nothing I can do against the 2, so we're kind of stuck. I'm coming out the gates swinging, clearly. So now I can play the 8, clear the 5, run my 5s, and I'll at least take second place. So that's not the worst thing ever. All right, so I just edited out them playing the end of their round because you guys don't need to watch that. It's just them going back and forth. And you'll see here it's got a leaderboard. So, I'll jump up to second. There we go. And now the next turn comes up. And on different turns, you have to give up cards. And so I'm going to give my lowest card up. And I got a 2. That's fantastic. So you do have to trade cards. Just be strategic about it. Low number cards, individual cards. Try not to break your, doubles and stuff. Geez, playing the 2 8s early. So I've got the only 2 8s left, which is nice. Do they have doubles? They do. Okay, so we know there's a gap in here. So hopefully I can play these 6s. And we also know that nobody can have a doubles on 2s, but they can have jokers. So there you go. So she burned both jokers to get the 2s, and then she used her wonder card to clear the board. I wouldn't have done that. Play the 6s. So this is actually pretty nice so far because I've been able to run most of my low level or low numbered duplicates. There's the other wonder card. Clears that out. So board clear is going to become harder for people now. Perfect. So now we're on singles. I can take the king. So as long as I can control the board once, I can win this because I can play both 8s into my 3 2s and be done. And I'll have to pass here. So you really want to control your 8s. They can be very incredibly powerful. And so the thing I can do here is run a single 2, make it hard for them to get the board back. So that's a place where you might want to break your triples and stuff. I can play both my 8s. This is going to put the turn right back to me. Play both my 2s, and now I've won the match. So when you play your jokers, when you clear the board with 8s or with wonder cards, usually is what decides whether or not you're going to win. Sometimes you just really do have a terrible hand. It does absolutely happen. And those are matches that you're just going to lose. But really think about when to use your 8s, your wonders, and your jokers to get control of the board. If you're just doing it to pass things around and you're not going to be able to play, like let's say you use a joker to get 2, 10s, and you have nothing higher than that as a double, chances are when it comes back to you, you're going to lose. So only do it when you're going to clear the board or when you're going to take control of the board again. Let's finish out this match. I'll come right back for the 3rd round. All right, so here we go. I just took the win on that 2nd round, so it actually brought me to 1st place. So we'll see what happens down here. So now I've got to give up 2 cards. So I'm going to give these 2. There's not duplicates or anything, so those are good ones to kind of safely get rid of. We're starting with singles. Please play a 7, thank you. So I can get rid of my low card. So now I've got a bunch of duplicates. So this is good if I can control the board. King. I think I'm going to let that one pass. I'm going to save my jokers. I figured that would happen. Somebody would play a 2 and then someone would want to clear the board to take control. Because I'm not in a bad place. If they play duplicates, I've got a good hand for that. And then they just burn the other wonder card. So now the 2 wonder card clears are gone. So kind of always keep an eye on that. And see, they played a triple, so this is why I wanted to hold my jokers. Because the only thing that's going to beat that is this. So they've got no wonder clears, which means that I've got control of the board. So now I can start getting rid of my low doubles. Now I don't have 8s. That's the only really bad thing about this particular hand at the moment. But if I can control it this way, that'll be very helpful. Aces, so I can beat that with the double 2s. And they shouldn't be able to clear that. Perfect. So now I'll do my double 4s, and then hopefully I can come around and get a double on queens and win. Oh, he did the kings. So I'll have to pass on this one. This can be tricky because now he might have a bunch of triples. Yep, and I can't do anything about triples. But considering how many cards have been played, there shouldn't be many triples left, actually. Don't do anything higher than going perfect. So now, as long as nobody else is playing jokers, I should have this. Of course, a 2 comes out. And there we go. Millionaire, if only in real life. So that's basically my kind of thoughts and strategies I'm playing is, like I said, really control. Don't get too crazy and antsy on playing your jokers early. Don't try to clear the board if you're just going to put it back into yourself to have to pass the next round. Make sure you're doing your 8s, your wonder cards, and your jokers when you can take control of the board and then control the flow of duplicates, triplicates, things like that. And if you get late in the game and you have low cards left, but you have a quad, so like 4 7s, use it. Flip the board. Most people can't recover from that unless they just happen to have 4 as well, and then they can reverse the board again. But that's my quick demonstration of Tycoon. And just a reminder, drop down below. I've got the link in there to join me in Raid Shadow Legends. I should have the guild up in the next day or so. And I would love for you to take that beginner journey with me. And my friends, until our next video or live stream, please take care of yourselves.